A game against bottom of the table Southampton shouldn't fill me with this much dread, but the reality of the situation is that this is a must-win game. 1 win in 8 for Spurs, and that came away against Manchester City a few weeks ago. But it's time to freshen things up, and this is why I think Lucas Bergvall absolutely has to start in this game, and we'll come on to that shortly. But welcome back to the Ben Bowman YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a preview for the Southampton game tomorrow. Like I said, a must-win massive game for Spurs. Southampton have been gifting goals away for fun, but best believe they're going to turn into prime Barcelona and not give the ball away playing out from the back tomorrow once. I guarantee you that now. And this is a must-win game for Spurs. If you are new, please do subscribe. Please do like the video as well. I'm on the march to 10,000 subscribers. I was trying to get there before the end of the year. Probably won't, but we'll try and get there early next year. But I appreciate all the support so far this year. And hopefully this game gives us a little bit more cheer going into the Christmas period, of which we are suffering at the moment. Spurs at the moment missing a lot of players, and that is obviously contributing to our dip in form. Well, I say dip in form, we've obviously been inconsistent all season, but it's not even about being inconsistent now. The reality is we haven't won a game in 8. I've only won 1 game in 8, and the squad is down to the bare bones, as Ange Postecoglou said. Mikey Moore, Vicario, Ben Davis, Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur, Odegaard, Bissouma and Richarlison all out for this game. And Bissouma being out presents a really good opportunity for Lucas Bergvall to come in and take that shirt. I think he will start in this game, which I'm really excited about. I think he will go with we'll go with Bergvall and Sarr in that midfield. I really liked what I saw from Bergvall's cameo on Thursday night. We'll come on and talk about that shortly and what he can bring to the team. But I really liked it. And one thing I'm thinking at the moment is, obviously, we didn't do a review of the Rangers game. I kind of wanted to talk about the Rangers game in this a little bit. We were really poor. That was the reality of it. Got away with it. Kulusevski, Bergvall, Solanke come on and change that game for Spurs. And without them and without Fraser Forster, we don't win that game. And then, or we don't draw that game. Sorry, we lose it. So without them, we were in massive, massive trouble. Rangers, a bit too physical, a bit too intense for us. It was always a game I thought we were possibly going to struggle in because of the context around the game. And going back to Ibrox, Spurs' form, Spurs running on empty, Spurs being jaded. And that's why, in certain positions at least, it is time to freshen things up. You might notice I put Jed Spence in there at right back. Pedro Porro, for me, cannot start this game. I really like Pedro Porro. He has been making mistakes recently. He's not been playing well, anywhere near the level that we know he can. But I do think a lot of that comes down to fatigue. I think he looks incredibly physically and mentally jaded. So I think Jed Spence is a perfect opportunity for him. And I think if Jed Spence doesn't start in this game, I think that says a lot about how Ange maybe does really feel about him, because it's not as if he can use Gray at right back. Because I think if Porro, obviously against Bournemouth where we had Davis and Dragusin, he put Gray at right back to give Porro a rest. He hasn't got that option unless you chuck Alfie Dorrington in at centre half and then play Archie Gray at right back, which I don't think you're going to do. I know Ben Davis, there are rumours that he might be back for the Man United game, potentially, which would obviously be a boost. I thought Gray did okay at centre back, and I actually think in these kind of games where we are going to dominate possession against Southampton, I think he'll be okay. Again, for sure. But obviously it's not an ideal situation. And I know Ben Davis might be back in the next week or so, but I think for as long as Gray and Dragusin know they're going to have to play together, I think you have to allow that partnership to blossom a little bit. But I think you also have to allow a new partnership to blossom in midfield. And I think that is Lucas Bergvall and Pat Matasar. I've got Bergvall in kind of one of the more advanced 8s there. I've sort of circled him. But I would quite like to see this. Bergvall and Sarr kind of working as a bit more of a pivot with Maddison in front of them. I thought Maddison actually did okay the other night. There's been a lot of chat about senior players not stepping up. I think Maddison sometimes kind of gets unfairly tarred with that brush a little bit. I thought he did okay, certainly better than the likes of Werner, Bissouma, etc. And I think Bissouma being banned for this game is almost a bit of a blessing, because he has been one of the senior players that I think has been continually... I think he personifies this Spurs team so well, right? The ceiling is so high, but the floor is so low. And I think the ceiling with Bissouma, like we saw with the Arsenal game last season, Man United, some of the performances this season, Everton at home, that ceiling as a 6 in this team is so high, but more often than not, he's going to let you down. And I think this is a really good window of opportunity for Bergvall to come in. And I'm not saying take that shirt, but I put a tweet out the other day. Talking about Lucas Bergvall. It was quoting the kind of compilation of the cameo that he had the other day against Rangers. And I do wonder, with the fact that obviously Bissouma is banned for this game, there was an opportunity for him to start. I do wonder whether Ange will kind of see this as an opportunity to maybe put to the side some of the experienced players that are letting him down and almost go full send on Project Youth a little bit and allow a partnership of Bergvall and Sarr to blossom in these next few games before we get Bentancur back, who of course is another option, who doesn't let him down as much as someone like a Bissouma, but Bentancur's far more kind of steady, I'd say. But I liked what I saw a lot from Bergvall the other night, and especially in light of Ange's comments about senior players needing to step up. Really unhappy with Timo Werner as someone who's been incredibly fresh because he's not played a lot of football. The performance that he put in wasn't anywhere near the standard. It was unacceptable. When you look at what Bergvall, and I think also the context of which he was saying that was a context in which you've got Archie Gray playing out of position at centre-half, doing a decent job. Bergvall coming on at 18 years old again. Would have started if he wasn't ill, apparently. Hopefully he's okay. I think Anne just said he definitely is in contention. But those Werner comments were, I think, more pertinent in the light of the fact that you've got 18-year-olds coming on and giving far more than he did. And I really like what I saw here. Pat Matasar kind of gets caught on the ball. Let me just quickly about that. Pat Matasar gets caught on the ball here. But Bergvall, his anticipation, you can see, I think over the last couple of games, obviously this is the longest cameo I think he's had in the last few weeks. Obviously he came on against Chelsea, I think, with 15 minutes to go. Bournemouth, I think, maybe similar, maybe less. This is probably the longest cameo he's had. I think he had about 25 minutes here. And I think we saw a lot of the good stuff that we saw in pre-season with him. You can just see his brain kind of ticking over. Here, helping out defensively. Getting in, winning that ball back, chasing it, winning that ball back again and allowing us to recycle. If I just hide myself here, you can see him kind of coming into this number 6 position, head up, always looking for an option, drives forward and plays it out to the winger. Here again, back to goal with a man behind him, still confident to receive it, still confident to play. Again here, I know it's further up the pitch, but this is a pattern we see from Tottenham quite a lot with a 6 dropping in to that sort of position, whether it's on the halfway line or whether it's deeper, then playing the ball out to the centre-back, and you can see Porro or Kulusevski will then kind of come wider to then offer an option. Here again, that anticipation, the reading of the game. Here, turns again with his back to goal, but it's about the fact that he protects it so well and shrugs off the man and opens up a passing angle for Sarr here. And again, if I just slightly move this, you can then see the options that Spurs have got in that sort of position. So he's kind of opening up the pitch with what he's doing a lot of the time. Again here, in that 6th position, comfortable turning back to goal and driving forward, little 1-2 with Sarr, and he makes that run forward out to Kulusevski. Them two obviously came on and made a massive difference. So I think he has to start for me in this game. I think I really want to see that. I just want to see some freshness. I do really want to see some freshness and someone who is hungry to come in and stake a claim. We said before the start of the season that I didn't think it'd be long before Bergvall was really knocking on that door. And obviously the injuries and the suspensions, etc., have opened that door for him more. But sometimes that's all it takes. That was what it takes for an 18-year-old to come in and grab that opportunity. And I think with the attitude that he's got, with and without the ball, that desire to always have it. And the thing is there, when we went through those screenshots, what sticks out to me is that it's not like he didn't do anything extraordinary. He was just calm in a game that had so much chaos to it, being away at Ibrox. They're on Postecoglou's back. They're 1-0 up. Ibrox is absolutely buzzing. He stepped into it and just brought that tempo down and obviously that kind of coincided with Rangers, the energy levels dropping off, etc. But he just brought the tempo down and played it at his tempo. And I would like to see a midfield of Maddison, Bergvall and Sarr, because you've got 2 tempo dictators there in Bergvall and Maddison. Maddison's off the ball work, I think he's underrated. And we'll come on and talk about Southampton now. Obviously, you see here I've kind of put some lines and some arrows around Tyler Dibbling and Cameron Archer. This is kind of how Southampton will set up with that back 3. I think they've got Bednarek back for this game. Ramsdale not back, so it would be Lumley still in goal. And obviously we know that Southampton have had a lot of problems playing out from the back, right? Which we'll come on and talk about in a sec. But they're going to be brave, and there will be opportunities for Spurs to nick that ball back. But their bravery always kind of, I don't, personally, and this isn't me kind of coping, as people would say, Southampton aren't the worst team in this league, and I don't think they've been the worst team in this league this season. I think a lot's gone against them. They've shot themselves in the foot many times, and they haven't helped themselves, which we'll come on to. But they've got good players. Tyler Dibbling here is a player that I want to talk about. Will play kind of in this central role. I see Tyler Dibbling as a kind of Kulusevski sort of Mazzala, half 8, half winger. And as you can see here, he'll play sort of in this midfield 3, but he'll drift out wide and he'll drift centrally as well. You can see here against Aston Villa in their last away game, they kind of play with the 2 up front of Armstrong and Archer. They've obviously got Onuachu as well, someone who's a bit more of a target man that they could play but I think it might be Armstrong and Archer. And you can see here Dibbling as sort of that part of that midfield three, but he definitely plays that front three and sort of gets into central positions, but also drifts. You can see here the position of Kyle Walker-Peters. He's someone that Spurs have got to track. Again, here it says he played in the back three here. I'm not sure whether that was actually the case, whether he was almost right side of it or right back. I didn't actually watch this game against Aston Villa, to be honest. But I have got some screenshots of Walker-Peters' role. And Cameron Archer here again. Armstrong was doing this in the Liverpool game, kind of playing on that left-hand side with Onuachu on the right. And Armstrong does a lot of great channel runs, does a lot of great channel work. Kind of almost playing as a bit of a winger to get that width. And then one striker will sort of stay more central. And then the beauty of Tyler Dibbling or someone like Joe Aribo, who came in the absence of Dibbling in that recent Chelsea game, is that winger or number 8 will almost become a second striker when they get into the final third, because Archer or Armstrong, whoever's making that channel runs, will take a centre-back out of the game out there. But we have to talk about the negatives of Southampton, obviously, and where Spurs can hurt them. Here against Chelsea, getting themselves into situations against a high-pressing team. Again here with Solanke, Kulusevski, Bergvall with the energy that he's got to win that ball high up the pitch. Maddison as well. I think this could play into our hands absolutely massively. Madueke gets in there and then Kunku scores the goal. Here is an example, not necessarily of Southampton's bad defending, but an area in which Kulusevski could hurt Southampton from this right-hand side. And I have got Kulusevski on the right. I think this is a game to not play Brennan Johnson or bring him off the bench if the game becomes a little bit more open in the second half. Obviously, they get quite narrow as a back four here. Walker-Peters coming sort of centrally there. A lot of space for the free man at the back post. It's like watching Tottenham defend this, isn't it? So that bodes well for a Doggy and Son. But Madueke is someone here who can just sort of slow it down and wrap the ball into the corner. But again here, an example of Armstrong kind of making these channel runs and dragging the centre-back out to Konate. Gets the little nutmeg here. And there's an argument to suggest he should have got a penalty for this. But again, Southampton in this Liverpool game, shooting themselves in the foot. Out to Fernandes there, under pressure, having to play back. We know the goal. We know, obviously, the goal comes from there as well. So there will be opportunities for Spurs, definitely to hurt them in this game through our pressing, through Southampton's desire to, not go against the principles of their manager. They will continue to do this. Russell Martin has obviously come out in defence of Ange in kind of the lead up to this game, and really kind of given him a pat on the back for what he's been doing. And which is obviously good to hear. But this game, maybe it's just because of how we feel about Spurs at the moment, but this game feels a little bit banana skinny, doesn't it? But that's why I think it's a good idea to freshen things up. Gray and Dragston have to continue as that centre-back partnership for me. Bergvall and Sarr in midfield. I think Maddison has to play in that midfield as well. Kulusevski, Solanke, Son as that front three. Like I said, Southampton have got dangerous players. Tyler Dibbling, like I said, kind of playing as that sort of Mazzala, number 8, sort of half-winger, driving forward here with the ball, causing Liverpool all kinds of problems. Robertson takes a kick at him and they get the penalty. Here is another example of what I talked about with Cameron Archer, kind of making those more, those sort of channel runs, and Walker-Peters having that sort of free role. And you can see here Joe Aribo, who came into this game, the number 7, for the suspended Tyler Dibbling against Chelsea, gets himself into the box as that second striker in place of Dibbling, and he's there to finish off a cutback chance. So this Southampton team are going to hurt Tottenham. They are going to try and hurt Tottenham, but we should have too much quality for them. It's just about that belief. This is a real game to try and... Ange spoke yesterday about sort of setting our season up with these next few games. Obviously, the 2 games that follow this are Manchester United in the Cup and Liverpool in the league, so it's obviously going to be incredibly difficult. I felt so confident about that Man United game. And I think that's one of the ones where we've got such a big blow with the injuries that we've got out, because getting through to the semi-final of the League Cup just does change the feeling a little bit. And we need to start, though, by changing the feeling on Sunday and just getting back to winning ways first and foremost, in a game that we should be winning, a game where Southampton could gift us chances. I'm not saying they're definitely going to do that, but the evidence is there to suggest that they might. Liverpool and Chelsea, right? A lot of teams have profited off that. But again, they've got the belief. And I think the problem is that teams will smell blood with Tottenham. It's always been a thing, right? Anyone feels like they can turn up and give Tottenham a game. That's where that Dr. Tottenham thing has always come from, right? But we need to kind of just dispel that on Sunday, just at least for this game, and just put that right and just go and put a statement result in. But yeah, let's see what Tottenham do. Let's see what Tottenham turn up. Because if it's the Tottenham team that kind of turn up against Rangers, then I think we're in trouble. But that's why I think you've got to freshen things up. Bergvall in there for me, Spence in there for me, Kulusevski on the right for me. So let me know what you guys think. Obviously, we're back with a breakdown of the game on Monday, so stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe, of course, and like the video. Give me a score prediction and let me know your thoughts on my starting 11 and give me yours as well. So nice one, and up the Spurs.